Olá, gente, boa noite, sejam bem-vindos a mais uma live no canal Us na Amazon. Eu sou a Sara Quartarolli e hoje eu tenho um convidado super especial aqui comigo, que é o John Side Hustle. John, welcome to our channel. Thank you for participating with us here today. We're going to talk about Amazon, how you started your business. But thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm super excited to having you here. I've been following you for a while on Instagram. We never had a chance to meet, but it's always nice to know people that it's in the business. They're working with Amazon, living with that, about living from the money that we make from that. I know that's not easy, especially people who tell the truth. So it seems like
It's tough.
It's a tough business.
It's tough but rewarding, and I think a lot of when everyone says it's saturated, it's really not. It it is and it isn't. But like I've been doing this almost 5 years now, and every year it's like the Amazon fees go up, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's over," or "This happens," or "There's too many people doing this." It's the same thing every year, and you just kind of figure it out, or other people drop out because they can't handle it or whatever, and you just got to make it yourself and pivot and do what you got to do.
Ok. Let me just translate for them. Eu estava falando para ele que estou muito feliz de estar com ele aqui. Eu já sigo ele faz muito tempo. Ele vende na Amazon faz 5 anos. Ele falou que eu estava falando para ele que é bem legal conhecer pessoas que vivem da Amazon, né? Eu sempre tento trazer pessoas que vivem e ganham dinheiro e vivem do dinheiro que fazem da Amazon e pessoas que falam da realidade. E ele estava falando que é um business difícil, mas tem uma recompensa de você viver da Amazon e que as pessoas estão sempre falando que o mercado está saturado, mas na verdade não está. Está e não está. Então, ele já trabalha com a Amazon faz 5 anos e todo ano é a mesma coisa. A Amazon sobe os fees, o pessoal fala que vai estar saturado, a gente descobre novas formas de continuar trabalhando com a Amazon. I was just explaining then that this business changes a lot. People are saying, welcome, John.
Oh, thank you.
This business changes a lot, but I feel like the business, Amazon from 2023 is not the same of 2020. That's when most of the people started to make a lot of money on Amazon, mainly because I think the margins are lower. It's lower now. There's more people doing it, but it's not impossible to survive doing this business. I just feel like you just have to get better at searching.
I'd agree with you. A lot of people, I think that's kind of the crux of it. Like you were saying, it's like, I feel like I was a bookseller in 2020. I totally missed out on all the craziness of OA and wholesale and all that other stuff. And I think like anything else, like anyone can make money during Q4. Like easiest time to sort, like pretty much anything is profitable during Q4. Like any Lego set you could sell for a profit or break even. But then like when all the sales dry up and everything goes away, it's like, well, can you like still source? Can you be creative? Can you still make it? Because you just can't really go on one like or 2 months. And I think a lot of people got hooked on it and they're like, oh, this is so easy. And now it's like, oh, it's getting harder. As stores get a little smarter, I mean, arbitrage will always be there because, there's just always going to be inefficiencies. But as technology gets better, maybe stores get smarter, it will get a little more challenging. But again, more people come in, other people leave. It's just this constant cycle of people come, people go, and, the strongest survive, really.
Exactly. Gente, eu estava falando para ele que o mercado de hoje não é o mesmo de 2020, porque muita gente começou ali no COVID e as pessoas ganharam muito dinheiro no COVID. E era muito fácil, gente, é muito fácil ganhar dinheiro durante o Q4. É o que ele está falando. Qualquer pessoa vende no Q4. Vende, é até muito comum a galera começar no Q4 já querer dar aula, assim, já acha que está sabendo, mas na verdade não é que você é muito bom, é que é muito fácil vender no Q4. Aí o Q4 passa e as pessoas começam a falar, nossa, é difícil, cadê os produtos? As lojas estão ficando mais espertas, com menos inventário faltando. Então, você tem que ficar cada vez mais aprofundar em conhecimento e ser mais criativo na hora de pesquisar produto. É isso que ele estava falando. Can you let me know how you started? I was like watching a video that you told me that you were telling that you start flipping furniture.
Yeah, so I started flipping furniture. The whole thing started when I basically got into a disagreement with my 9 to 5. I first started and we had an agreement, on salary. And after 3 months, they were gonna bump me up. I, did what I had to do, got that. And then when it came time for a raise at the end of the year, they're like, oh, we already gave you a raise. And I was like, no, like that, like what you did before, that was a separate thing. Long story short, I was like, I need to be in charge of how much money I make. That was kind of like eye opening because when you work a 9 to 5, I don't know if you ever have, but it's like if you don't get a raise that year, you basically have to wait a whole year. Like it's very rare you get one like, I don't know, every quarter or halfway through. You usually have to wait the full year. So I was just like watching a Gary Vee video and he was going to garage sales. And I was just like, this is interesting. He's like a millionaire. Like, I could just, I'm going to give this a try. So I bought 4 chairs on, I think it was OfferUp or Craigslist or one of those apps. And then, about a week later, I bought them for $10 and someone bought them for $40.
Wow.
Like, this is interesting. The whole idea behind it was to double the money. So if I spend 10, I wanted to get 20 back. And that why I have no idea. Like that was just, double the money. Let's see how you could do this. And then I bought another piece of furniture. It was like this little stand. I bought that for 10, sold that for 20. I'm like, okay, like here's like, $40 in literally like 2 days, like all cash. And I was like, let me keep going and see how this goes. And then I don't know, within the first month, I made like $1,000.
Wow.
I was like, and it was just really on the weekends or like on my lunch break, I'd just be like messaging people, pick it up after work. Like I always had them. So I'd go to the gym. So I'd meet everyone at the gym in the party, like, okay, like bring the thing, or I'll bring the thing there and we'll meet up. And then, it just went crazy. And I think the first year I did about $25,000 just, and I think like almost 13,000 was like profit because these guys like just, there are no fees like on any of these platforms. And then I went home for Christmas and everyone wanted to buy furniture. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll be back in a week. And they're like, no, like we need it now. And I lost out on thousands of dollars. And I was like, oh man, I was so sad. And I was like, I need a business that like I can make sales, but I'm not there, or like, and I had an apartment, so my apartment was just like full of furniture. It was really starting to become an issue. And I came across a video of Reezy Resells. He was selling books, and I was like, I don't know about this. But I was like, you know what? I'll try it. And bought kind of like the first batch. I went there and scanned them, and I was like, I don't know, I think I bought 8 books the first time. Every time I go to find the Instagram it's like way buried. I'm not scrolling anymore. But yeah, I found them, and like a week or two later, I sent them into Amazon, and they sell, and I'm just like, wow, that was crazy. And then I just went all in and kind of started thrifting.
Okay, let me just translate for them. Gente, eu perguntei como é que ele começou na Amazon. Eu tinha visto um vídeo dele falando que ele começou flip imóveis no OfferUp. Aí ele falou que ele começou assim, ele era empregado, trabalhava de 9 às 8, e ele tinha acordado um salário com a empresa que ele trabalhava. E aí, quando chegou na hora do aumento, eles falaram que já tinham dado um aumento para ele. Ele falou, não foi o combinado. Aí ele falou, caramba, eu tenho que ter controle daquilo que eu ganho. E aí ele foi olhando vídeos e ele viu o vídeo daquele Gary, que é um milionário, falando que você podia fazer flip imóveis, vender coisa usada e tal. Ele resolveu comprar umas cadeiras no OfferUp, comprou por $10, comprou 4 cadeiras. Ele, na cabeça dele, ele falou assim, se eu comprar por 10 e vender por 20, eu vou ganhar 100% do que eu tive. E aí, 1 semana ou 2 semanas depois, ele vendeu por 40 cada uma. Então, assim, ele quadruplicou o dinheiro. Aí ele falou, caramba, eu posso fazer isso. Passou 1 semana, ele comprou de novo. Nessa brincadeira, ele fez isso por 1 ano. E nesse 1 ano, ele vendeu $25 mil de móveis usados no OfferUp. Desses $25 mil, $13 mil foi de lucro, gente. Porque ele falou que essas plataformas não cobravam FII. Mas aí ele foi pro Natal passear, acho que viajar, e o pessoal queria. Aí ele falou: quando eu voltar eu vendo para vocês. Aí o pessoal falou assim: não, a gente precisa para agora. Aí ele ficou arrasado porque ele queria ganhar o dinheiro, mas enquanto ele estava de férias ele não poderia. Aí ele falou assim: eu quero procurar um trabalho que eu ainda consiga, quando eu não tiver presente, eu ainda esteja faturando. Continuou vendo os vídeos do Gary e aí ele descobriu sobre vender livros na Amazon. Aí ele disse que foi lá no Craigslist, comprou, mandou para a Amazon e vendeu. Então foi assim que ele começou. Ele falou: caramba, tem um negócio aqui, pode dar certo. E aí ele mergulhou de cabeça na Amazon. So I just told them that how you started. Now we're in Amazon part. That's how you start on Amazon. You started with books. How much you sold in your first year? You started selling only books and you stay with the only books for a while?
Yeah, so I did books. I think the first year I was so mad. I just fell shy of 100,000. So the
That's
first
good.
year on Amazon, I did 96,000 ish, right
Uh-huh.
around there. But I ended up doing like 100,000, like with eBay stuff or local, like so it
Nice.
did even out. And then the second year, I did, man, it was just over like 100 again. It was like probably like 125. I was working a full-time job, so this was just on the weekend.
Part-time?
Yeah, so it was super part-time. I would kind of do book trips on the weekend, go to like cities around me, go thrifting, and do all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of when it hit me. I'm like, wow, like if I could do this full time, like once I passed 100,000, I was like, so with books, you make a lot more money, or at the time, because the fees were a lot lower. So like for books, like I was definitely making like my salary, right? Because I didn't have a warehouse. Like books are like $1, $2 each,
They're
right?
cheap.
I mean, it's so cheap. So a lot of what I was spending was, pretty much profit from the start, even if some went bad. So I did that, and then I basically graduated, got into bulk books, got 2 storage units,
Nice.
started processing books out of there. Such a logistical nightmare, but I made it work. Found a couple suppliers. COVID happens. I lose both suppliers right away because of the rules. So where I live, like no one from out of state was able to come into my state, so that they couldn't do business with me. Then one of my suppliers just decided to break the rules and was like, "You know what? I'll come if you want me to." I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And then I was able to scale up, got a
Wow.
warehouse. I think it was like 4,500 square feet.
Big.
Forklift, yeah, all that stuff. Built out tables, all that. Started buying in bulk, or more, doing more of that. And then restock limits hit. Really killed the book business a lot. I was able to send an unlimited amount of books, and now, they capped me at like 12,000. Then a week later, it went down to like 10. Then it went
Wow.
to 8, and then it went to 6. Like within a span of like 2 months, it went from unlimited to like 4,000, and I was like, I got to merch fulfill books, and then that just became kind of like a nightmare, and had to get help. It was crazy, and then I came across one of the big things that came to me was, Amazon only wanted essential goods during COVID. So it was like health and I don't know, soap and stuff like that. And I was just like, like they'll always take those products no matter what. Like books are always like, forget about it. Like they're not going to want those. So I was like, you know what? I want to learn how to sell those products. And then eventually I was fortunate to know some people and, they kind of helped me start online arbitrage.
Ok. Gente, ele estava falando que ele começou vendendo um livro da casa dele, e no primeiro ano ele vendeu quase 100 mil dólares. Ele vendeu 96 mil dólares. Ele até ficou chateado porque não chegou a ser 100 mil dólares, mas com o eBay e outras coisas ele vendeu 100 mil. Só que ele disse que como o custo dele era muito barato, porque era só livro você compra baratinho, $1 e tal, então ele fazia praticamente o salário dele vendendo livros, e era part-time, ele trabalhava só no final de semana, então ele viajava para comprar livros em volta da cidade e tal. Aí ele começou a crescer, ele percebeu que ele poderia, no segundo ano ele fez 100 mil, aí ele percebeu que ele poderia viver disso full-time, alugou um warehouse, começou a comprar em bulk, mas aí, gente, o que aconteceu? O COVID veio. E aí, com o COVID, os suppliers dele não podiam entrar na cidade, né? Por conta das regras de isolamento e tal. Mas ele conseguiu um supplier que falou assim: não quero saber, eu vou quebrar as regras e vou até você, se você quiser. Ele falou: eu quero. Nessa brincadeira, ele conseguiu escalar o negócio dele, alugou um warehouse de 4.000 e poucos square feet, forklift, estrutura, começou a comprar em bulk, quer dizer, quantidade, começou a vender pra caramba, mas aí, no ano seguinte, a Amazon, ela mudou a política dela. Ela começou a limitar o estoque do FBA de todo mundo. E isso acabou com a questão dos livros, né? Prejudicou muito, porque digamos que ele poderia vender quantidade limitada de livros usados, sim, livros usados. E aí depois passou para 12.000, na semana seguinte para 8.000, sei que desceu para 4.000. E aí como é que ele ia fazer? Que ele tinha que vender no volume, né, na quantidade. E aí ele percebeu que a Amazon, no COVID, queria produtos de saúde. Aí ele falou, caramba, se eles nunca vão negar, né, sabão, hand soap, hand sanitizer, essas coisas, eu vou tentar começar a vender isso. E aí ele conheceu algumas pessoas no business que faziam esse tipo de venda, e aí ele decidiu fazer a migração de e-books, de livros, para online arbitrage. E agora a gente chegou no ponto de que ele saiu de livros, né, exclusivamente de livros, e passou para fazer online arbitrage. So you started with the OA. That's pretty much what you're doing right now. You don't do any FBM, right? You do 100% FBA?
No, I don't do any FBM. It's just not what I want to do. Everything now goes to a prep center.
Okay.
So I really just enjoy that. And
Nice.
it just becomes really hard logistically. Like, what's going to the prep center? What do I have? Shipping it. Like, I just don't like it. Especially for me, once I got rid of all the equipment, I still have one just in case printer. Like I had with books, I had, I don't know, like 5 or 6 printers, like for everything. But now I just have the one. But yeah, it's pretty much, I would say 99% FBA.
Gente, ele falou que ele faz praticamente 100% FBA, porque logisticamente faz mais sentido, e é FBA para prep. Então ele compra tudo e manda para o prep. Então ele não trisca nos produtos. E ele falou que ele já vendeu todas as partes, os equipamentos que ele tinha. Por exemplo, ele tinha 5 impressoras por conta de livro, ele tinha que ter muitas impressoras, ele manteve uma só, mas para ele funciona melhor FBA para prep. So let me ask you something. What kind of category you sell most right now?
Right now we're probably doing a lot of beauty and electronics.
What is your minimum margin? Because I know most of my students, they're in Brazil. They're not in Brazil, but the ones that are in Brazil, they have a hard time managing the profit with the fee that the prep center charges. So I know that they're supposed to work with the higher, high tickets, not high tickets, but most expensive items. I don't think, let's say, the small lines are not going to work for whoever works for prep. But what kind of minimum margins you work with it, like profit, and also your average sales amount per item? How much is it?
Oh, how much is it? The last time I checked, I think it was like 46. It was between 46 and 50. That's my average sale. So it's I used to do a lot of apparel. I stopped doing apparel because of returns. But yeah, so for me, I use SellerAmp. So with SellerAmp, I just put in the prep fee. So in the settings of SellerAmp, you could be like, hey, my prep costs $1 per unit or whatever it is. And then in the calculations I'm looking at, I'm not even thinking about it. It's like, it's either good or bad. Like all my things are like situated. So that's kind of how I look at it. I'm looking for anywhere from 30% and above. I'll go for some stuff. I'll go down to 20%. Sometimes even 10. It just really depends. I am a very big proponent of test buying. So some things I will buy, maybe from like a website I know runs a lot of sales, and I'll just buy it and break even on it to see if it sells, right? And then when there's a big sale, then I'll really buy a lot if I know it sells. And that's been my new strategy, really.
Also, what is the minimum profit that you accept per unit?
The minimum set per unit is $3. Which, yeah, we're trying to really buy a lot of higher end stuff. Like, I have a virtual assistant, and I really push them not to put anything on the sheet that is like buy cost is $15 or below. Everything has to be higher than that.
Everything has to be, yeah, otherwise it won't make sense with the prep cost and everything. You won't be able to match that. Okay.
Yeah, the average buy cost of something is probably, I would say, between 20 and 30-ish, right around there.
Ok. Let me translate to them. Eu estava perguntando, gente, porque ele trabalha com prep. E muita gente que está no Brasil tem dificuldade de achar produtos para vender por conta dos FIIs que o prep cobra. Aí ele estava falando que ele já coloca lá no Seller Amp, mais ou menos como o Azinzen, o custo da preparação dele como se fosse o frete lá. Mas ele, o que ele está falando? O que eu falei com ele? Ele não trabalha com produtos muito baratos. Então, por exemplo, ele tem um VA, um Virtual Assistant, que faz a pesquisa para ele, e ele já falou para ele que não quer nada que tenha um custo de aquisição menor de $15. Tá? Por quê? Porque a venda dele fica ali entre $46 e $50. Então, ele está tentando trabalhar com produtos high-end para poder trabalhar com um volume menor e com uma margem um pouco maior, porque ele trabalha com prep, ele não encosta nos produtos. Outra coisa que eu perguntei, qual que é a margem que ele aceita? Ele falou que ele trabalha com 30, ele vai até 20 de margem, ou até 10, a depender do produto. E que uma estratégia que ele está usando agora é que ele sabe, por exemplo, que um site tem promoção direto. Aí ele compra um produto, mesmo sabendo que ele não vai ter lucro, só para poder, tipo assim, empatar no 0 a 0, para ver se a velocidade está lá. Então, ele sabendo que o produto vende, aí quando tem a promoção, ele compra em quantidade, porque ele já sabe que esse produto vende rápido, e ele compra num preço que ele vai ganhar lucro, ele já testou, e aí sim ele compra uma quantidade maior. Então, tem sido a estratégia que tem funcionado bem para ele. Well, that's a really good strategy about the testing. I always test by. With the wholesale, I try to keep everything with minimum of $2 and $3. And $2 only if it's a small inlights. I have been working a lot with small inlights now because I think it's the cheap acquisition and a better profit margin, but only for wholesale. And with OA, I try to do the same as you. Like nothing less than it's gonna give me $3 a profit and a higher margin, like higher tickets for selling, like higher selling price point. I just think it's easy.
Yeah, it definitely is. And we're doing a lot of testing now. I like to call it like messy keep it charts, like keep it charts that just look like really bad. I don't know. Eventually, once you get to do this and you're doing it, you just kind of get these like little hunches or feelings that, like, I've sold this brand before, or, this definitely sells more than what Keep It is saying. Like, I don't, obviously what I'm seeing, it definitely sells more. I just know that. We're selling stuff that's like in the 300,000 or 400,000 range, buy like 2 or 3. And as soon as it gets to Amazon, it sells
quickly.
And it's like kind of stuff like that. It's like the Keep It chart looks really bad. A lot of other people are not going to buy that. So that's almost become our new strategy, is to test a lot of these messy Keep It charts and see if the item sells. And we've had a lot of good luck.
Nice.
Just buying them. And that lowers the competition, because a lot of people will be like, oh, it has to be under 50,000 and this and that. It has to be this many sales. Like, I don't go by any of that anymore. I look at the buy box statistics. If the buy box is being shared, I'll do a test buy of like 3 to 5, depending on how much it costs, or maybe 10, and then see what happens. And once you're, and two, these aren't your $2 or $3. These are like
10,
10, 15, $20. This isn't like putting up $30 to make $2. Hopefully, this is like, we're gonna put up 30 or 40, and this is gonna sell for like 70 or 80, and we're gonna hope to make like 10 or 15. And then the downside is like, when you're starting with like 15, like the chances you don't break even are like super, super slim, because like there's a lot you could go down on.
Ok. Ele estava falando que ele está começando com estratégia agora que é bem interessante, que eu não faço, tá, gente? Ele vai naqueles itens do Keepa que são bagunçados, que muita gente não tem interesse, que estão entre 200, 300, 400 mil, e ele testa. Então, ele compra, sabendo que ele está vendendo comprando por 30, vai vender por 80, então ele pode até baixando o preço para poder break even, para saber se vende ou não. E ele está tendo muito sucesso com isso. Então, ele está conseguindo achar produtos que ele tem uma margem maior, né? Vende menos unidades por mês, mas tem menos competição. Então, ele tem testado bastante isso. E tem funcionado para ele. It's a good strategy. I try to keep with the high speed, like high velocity items, but I don't pass through the new ones. What I tell the people that follows me, because we do mainly wholesale, I need stuff that sells quickly. Yeah. But when I see a supplier that has a lot of items that sells quickly, and they have also some items that are like after 100K, between 200, that I see that they sell, I'll buy those with a smaller quantity, because I still make like $5-10 on each, because they have the velocity is lower, but however the margin is usually better, right? There has less competition. But I will not open an account just if they only have those kind of items. I will not open an account with them. But if I have velocity items with the velocity, and also items that they sell slow, but they makes me a good profit, and I still can sell 2 or 3 items per month, I still buy them.
Yeah, no, that's a great thing too. And like when you're on these higher ranked items too, sometimes, you know, they're higher ranked because people don't buy them and send them in. So there's not a lot of stock. There's this one thing we're selling now where I think the estimated sales were like 13 or 20-ish per month. And there's like 3 other people on the listing with me. We already sold 25. Nice. And like it's been, I don't even know, like 10 days, 12 days. So it's just like, well, like a lot of people aren't going to buy that, number one, because it's like, that's the other thing too. When you buy more expensive items, it's much harder for people. So when everyone starts, you don't have a lot of capital, or maybe you do. But like if you could, I could buy 10 of something at Walmart, right, for $5. Not many people could buy 10 like $50 items right up, because it's super risky. If you only have like $1,000, $2,000, right, to put a quarter of your money into something. So it kind of like everyone's a little more risky, and then they're like, if I can only buy 2 or 3 of them, I don't know if it's worth it. And a lot of people pass, which in turn gives you more protection, because obviously if other people aren't going to jump on that listing because the Keepa looks like really bad, then like you could just keep selling it like all by yourself, or with 2 or 3 other people who actually know.
Ok. Gente, eu falei com ele que esse tipo de estratégia, por exemplo, é muito boa e eu não uso, tá? Eu não costumo vender itens que tem uma velocidade, pelo menos no Keepa, acima de 100 mil, por exemplo, porque eu vendo wholesale, eu tento vender itens que tem uma velocidade alta, mas eu sempre falo com a galera até do Level Up Pro, que, por exemplo, eu não abro conta com supplier se ele tem itens que tem um ranking alto, mas se ele tem itens que me interessam e tem uma velocidade boa, eu compro esses itens, e aí, digamos que ele tem 2 ou 3 produtos que estão lá na Amazon, mas tem uma velocidade mais baixa de venda, e eu faço um lucro bom, eu compro esses itens também, misturo na minha ordem. Então, tem itens que eu tenho uma margem um pouco menor, que tem uma velocidade alta, e tem alguns itens que vendem menos unidades por mês, mas vendem todo mês, tem menos competição, e eu tenho uma margem maior. Então, eu faço um balanço desses itens. Mas ele já é mais inteligente do que eu nesse ponto. Ele tá com a estratégia boa. Ele olha esses Keepas estranhos, ele testa primeiro, compra até para não fazer lucro. Quando tem a promoção no site, ele compra, porque ele falou o seguinte: muita gente tem dinheiro para comprar 10 itens de $5. Nem todo mundo tem dinheiro para comprar 10 itens de $50. Especialmente quando o seu orçamento é $1.000. Então, ele acaba que, pelo Keepa ser estranho e muita gente achar que tá ruim, mas ele já sabe que tá bom, que testou, e por ser mais caro, tem menos competição. Então, quando tem menos competição, ele consegue vender um desses itens mesmo. Ele já vendeu 25 unidades em 10 dias, tá? E o gráfico tá super estranho. Então, é uma estratégia nova que ele tá utilizando, e eu acho que é super inteligente. I will just explain them about your strategy. I think it's pretty good. I'm going to try out that.
Yeah, no, it can be a little risky, obviously. But I mean, yeah, it's also with risk comes reward.
Of course. And we got to be creative now these days.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's a lot. You have seen that a lot lately. A lot of people are complaining about things that are, the price is going way down in price. And I think a lot of it comes from everyone's following the same information, right? Reverse stores, go to Nike when they run a sale, like XYZ, just do this. Like Rakuten had like a ton of cash back this week. Guaranteed 2 to 3 weeks, everyone's going to be complaining that prices are tanking, but it's because everyone's shopping at those stores. And
Of course.
If everyone's following the same methodology, so if you teach all your students to do one thing, and then there's a big sale and they all do that one thing, right?
Everybody's
at the same
gonna be
store, like they're bound to buy the same stuff. And then it's like, well, who could like last the longest? Like wait to get the money, and not a lot of people could wait.
Exactly.
I mean, you want to keep moving the money. You don't want to sit on it, but like, yeah, it just creates that big problem at the end.
Yeah. Gente, aqui ele tá falando o seguinte, por exemplo, o Rakuten agora tá com uma promoção, que foi de 15% de cashback, até 15%. Então, obviamente, todo mundo tá seguindo as mesmas regras, só tá todo mundo comprando naqueles sites que tem desconto. Então, ele falou, se tá todo mundo comprando naqueles sites que tem desconto, lá na Nike, lá em outras lojas, obviamente, passou algumas semanas, o preço vai lá para baixo, que tá todo mundo competindo pelos mesmos listings. Então, se eu ensino todo mundo igual, e todo mundo faz igual, eventualmente vai durar mais quem tem mais dinheiro, quem pode esperar, meu gato tá ótimo, quem pode esperar mais tempo. Então, ele gosta de ser criativo. Eu vou abrir agora para perguntas, tá, gente? Podem mandar, quem souber falar inglês, manda em inglês, eu vou traduzir. E quem não sabe inglês, manda em português, que eu traduzo também, não se preocupem. I was explaining them, and then right now, I think we're gonna open for questions, because I think they're like asking a lot of stuff.
Yeah, let's do it.
Edgar, you can go and pass through the questions. They're going to pop up here, and then I'll translate.
Cool.
You used to sell used books, right? That's what they're asking.
Yeah.
Sim, gente, ele costumava vender, ele começou vendendo móveis, depois passou para livros usados. Did you learn how to sell on Amazon by yourself, or you did it?
For the most part. So I watched a Reezy Resells video. And then basically he like kind of showed how to, go to thrift stores and find books. And then I just started watching other YouTube videos. And I think that's a mistake a lot of people make. They try to learn everything. I learned, I watched one video. It said, go to a thrift store, go find some books, download this app. That's what I did. Then I went home like, all right, like, how do I get these books to Amazon? Then I figured that out. It wasn't like, I wasn't like consuming 30 hours of content. I was like, no, like gonna watch step 1, do step 1, figure out step 2, figure out step 3. I think that's where a lot of people mess up. Like they try to figure out all the steps, and where I could have watched like 30 hours of content and then be like, it sounds like too much work. But I went and bought these books, and it's like, all right, I have to do something with them. Like, what's the next step? So, yeah, pretty much self-taught.
Self-taught. Yeah, ele falou que aprendeu sozinho, mas ele olhava muito o vídeo daquele Reels, e ele olhava muito vídeo no YouTube, e ele disse que é um erro que todo mundo faz. Clarinha, tá dando para ouvir aqui. Falou que é um erro que todo mundo faz, que fica ouvindo muita coisa, então você baixa isso, faz aquilo, e a pessoa fica muito confusa, acaba achando que dificulta demais. Mas o que ele fez? Caramba, eu comprei esse livro, vou ter que fazer alguma coisa com isso. Então ele seguia em frente. Mas basicamente ele aprendeu sozinho. Who else? You have a VA, so does your VA do manual search or tactical? What they work with it?
So they're either doing reverse sourcing or they're doing manual sourcing. They're also using Keepa a lot to kind of. We do search a little different through Keepa, so we'll do reverse sourcing in Keepa, search categories or even sales, just using Keepa Product Finder.
Keepa Finder.
Yeah, product.
But you don't use TA at all?
I have a TA account. I just don't use it that much. It's for me, I think the software, like what it's meant to do is fine, but it's just a lot of mismatches. I feel like we just spend more time like almost finding something, and then it's like out of stock, or it's a mismatch, it's a 2-pack, and it's just easier to do it manually. And all the lead lists are using tactical arbitrage. So unless you're like figuring out some way to get it cheaper than it's appearing in tactical arbitrage, it's most likely going to end on a leads list or a Discord group or whatever. And then it's going to tank eventually.
Yeah. Gente, ele falou que faz basicamente manual ou reverse. Eu perguntei se ele usa o tático, ele falou que não usa o tático. Ele falou que demora muito tempo, tem muito mismatch. Ele falou assim, tá todo mundo usando, e a não ser que você consiga achar mais barato do que aparece no tático, você vai acabar com esse produto tanking, né, baixando o preço caindo, porque todo mundo tá comprando aquilo ali. Então, ele usa mais pesquisa manual. Olha aí, gente, 100% das pessoas que vieram aqui falam de pesquisa manual e reverse. 100% of everybody that came here that sells on Amazon said they prefer manual search. Like, I do the same. Like, mainly, I love manual search. I do use TA, but I use TA with coupons and, like the stores that are with discount. But I do manual search a lot.
Yeah, I think it gets harder too when like as more Discords pop up, like it's hard to like manual source like a lot of good leads. So like you kind of rely on TA a little bit to help out.
Yeah. Vamos lá. Próximo, Edgar. Do you use coupons or cashback to source?
Yeah, whenever there's cashback, definitely. So the apps we have Rakuten. We have Top Cashback. We have Be Frugal. What else do we have here? Retail Me Not we use. Those are probably... Oh, and Capital One Shopping. Those are probably...
Yeah, everybody's talking about that Capital One Shop. Is that good?
It's really good. It has like a lot of coupon codes. And the nice part is with Capital One Shopping, when you're checking out, like at the checkout, it just like the page like reloads and they just drop in like a promo code most likely. And it's just, you don't have to really think about it. And then if they don't, like they usually have a drop down. It's like, do you want to try these codes? And I've found they've probably had the most codes out of any other one I've used. So yeah, that's a really good one as well.
So, gente, ele falou que ele usa cashback, cupom também. Ele tá usando Be Frugal, Top Cash, Rakuten, e ele tá usando Capital One Shop, que eu perguntei a ele se é bom, que eu não uso, na verdade ele falou que é muito bom, e que às vezes quando ele tá fazendo checkout, o sistema aparece códigos de desconto. Então ele falou que normalmente é o site que tá dando mais desconto até com esses códigos, então tem funcionado bem para ele. Eu vou até testar, tá, gente? It's a nice tip. I haven't been using that one.
Yeah.
I heard about it, but I
definitely download it. It's super easy to use, and yeah, I just popped up. I've saved $5,000 so far, supposedly.
So that's pretty good. Ele falou que economizou $5.000 já em compras, tá, gente? Ok, tá. She's asking about the names of the apps. Eu deixo o nome sim, Roberto. I'll send it to you guys. You said that you don't do FBM, neither on Q4 when sales are higher.
I actually made a big video on YouTube saying why like I wasn't doing FBM. So for me, I just had a different strategy where I live in New York, or I'm from New York. So a lot of like, I'm going to be in New York for like the week of Christmas, like the week after. So I just don't want to have to deal with it. And so for me, I spent almost, I think in like October, November, like about $120,000. And everything was for FBA. And like, that was my plan. I stuck to my plan. Since I bought earlier, stuff did get checked in quicker. I was prepping it myself. So I was able to get it out much quicker. So, I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad strategy, but it's just not what I want to do and just not what I'm doing. And sometimes it makes a lot of sense. Other times I think people like hype it up and they're really not making as much money as you think because shipping is expensive.
Shipping is really expensive. And you get charged with the, how is it called now? They're saying that you're lying about the measurements of the boxes and the
they're
fees. It's just insane. I got hit with $5,000 last July. I went crazy.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. A lot of people, like, especially if you're kind of new and a beginner, like I've definitely done it. It's like you sell a Lego set, you get like all excited, you're about to make like $40 or $50, and then like 40 of it goes to shipping, and then if they return it, like it's just a nightmare. And I mean, yeah, if you could ship like smaller stuff, but even so, if it gets lost, like that's on you. Amazon doesn't care. So yeah, there's just a lot more on you. Yeah, there, like anything else, is there benefit? Sure. But for me, I'd rather just do FBA and let them handle it.
Gente, ele falou que ele faz basicamente FBA, porque ele mora em Nova York, ele é de Nova York, então, final do ano ele vai estar lá com a família e tudo, então ele prefere fazer FBA. Então ele fez, acho que ele vendeu 20 mil só FBM no Natal, em novembro e dezembro, o resto tudo que ele fez foi FBA, porque ele mandou antes, fez check-in antes, então ele fazia a preparação ele mesmo, então ele conseguiu, tipo assim, dar vazão. Ele falou que não é que seja uma estratégia rasa fazer FBM, mas e que faz sentido, mas que para ele prefere não fazer. To me, we do a lot of FBM on Q4, and I'm always excited about it at the beginning, and then in the middle, at the end, I'm like super upset, like cry.
Yeah. It also, like, for me, it hurts the workflow. Like, I want to just be sourcing. Like, I don't have to go to the post office. I don't have to worry about them picking it up, or like, it's just, for me, like, I don't know, if you print like the scan form, once you print the scan form, right, like anything after that doesn't get like scanned in. So for me, it's just, I like to do, like, the opportunity would have to be like absolutely crazy for me to do it, and it's just usually not there.
How many hours you source per day?
Per day, oh, like 4, 5.
4 hours?
Yeah, it really depends. I try to do like at least 2-hour sessions. Right now, I'm actually training a virtual assistant, so I'm working a little bit more, but I kind of like to stay up on it. But now, you know, it gets a little easier as you start to find these products that a lot of other people aren't doing. So there's a lot of, like I talked about before, that one that like sold 20 in 10 days. It's like no one else is going to get on that listing. So, I mean, that makes my life easier now. So I'm just going to keep buying until like I kind of hit that threshold where it's like, well, like this is probably the limit for the month, but we haven't been there. So, I mean, once you kind of start to get a couple replens, it gets a little easier. But yeah, I was spending a ton of time because I was used to sourcing apparel, and it was like super easy because like I spent a year learning it, and then when I just stopped doing it, you know, it's hard to like learn another skill.
Yeah. They're asking me what is, can you give a tip, whoever it's like in the beginning, what kind of category that would you recommend for them to sell?
If you're doing it yourself, I'd probably recommend probably like grocery at Walmart. There's just a lot of easy stuff you could bundle, where it's like ketchup mustard or 2 ketchups or whatever it happens to be, or Pop-Tarts, or pretty much anything that you could bundle, I feel like is really to do. And you make good margins. And if you have a reseller's license, you could shop there tax-free. So.
Ele falou que uma boa categoria para quem está começando é groceries. Até falo isso para vocês direto. Então, por exemplo, ele falou assim, ó, ketchup com maionese. 2 ketchups, você consegue bundle. E se você tem um reseller certificate, você consegue lá comprar sem tax. Então, é uma categoria que, se você está fazendo você mesmo, é fácil de começar e bom para você encontrar produtos com uma boa margem. And plus, they don't accept returns, right? I don't think groceries would.
Yeah, no return on
returns allowed, so it just makes it easier. I think that was it. Menu sourcing category. What kind of store? What stores do you prefer? That's what they're asking. When you do menu.
So I actually like Walmart, Target. I know a lot of people say they're like everything tanks there, but I I have like a lot of luck there. Kohl's is good. Chewy is pretty good.
Yeah, Chewy is nice.
Yeah, Chewy.
With like, $30.
Yeah, they had like buy 100 get 30 free the other day. I think it's like everyone. It's hard. I think at first to kind of find the stores that make the most sense, but like you just have to try them. Like I know people like you just gotta like ease into it. Like a lot of people are like, oh, like I got banned on Target. Like why? And like they tried to buy like 100 like video games that are like buy one get one. It's like, they're just not gonna let that happen. Like that's just not like how it works. And I think a lot of the times that's how it goes. Like if you're getting a new store, like try to be like I know it's like very exciting, like you find something very profitable, but like buy like 3 to 5. Like a normal person would probably buy like 3 to 5. Or it would make sense. And then they let that go through, then maybe do that again. And they're like, okay, and like your credit card checks out, or use PayPal. PayPal is really good. And yeah, I think once you could like start to test the limits and kind of, see how it goes.
Gente, ele tá falando o seguinte, que ele gosta, por incrível que pareça, do Walmart e do Target. Por muita gente falar que não é bom, mas ele teve muito sucesso. Kohl's, a Chewy, né, que é aquela loja de pet. Eu até falei para ele que teve a promoção de 30 de 100, ele também sabia disso. Mas ele falou que muita gente comete o erro de quando acha um site novo, ou por exemplo no Target, que foi banido no Target. Aí quando ele vai perguntar por quê, porque tentou comprar 100 videogames no Buy One Get One Free. E o Target não vai deixar isso acontecer. Então, se você achou um site novo, um produto bom, compra 3 unidades que uma pessoa normal compraria. Espera eles checarem seu credit card, se entregar, aí você compra de novo mais 3. Então, tem que ser muito cauteloso quando você está colocando ordem nesses sites que, especialmente, não aceitam revendedores. They're asking, during Q4, your FBA sales don't go lower. Hell no.
No, they go up, if anything, usually. Especially if, like, Amazon's, like, running out of stock, or...
Exactly. As vendas no Q4 não vão para baixo. Nem FBM, nem FBA. Muito pelo contrário. Se você tem produto em FBA, vende muito rápido. Tá? A grande questão é que a Amazon demora para receber esse produto, então demora para chegar na mão do Amazon. Also, I think we have someone asking about the buy box. Chances of your product getting buy box. But I think you do work with suppressed buy box items or not?
Yeah, I do. I love suppressed buy box. I started to like now. I love everything everyone hates. They don't like suppressed buy box. They don't
variations.
Like, messy keyword charts. They don't like high rank stuff. You just have to realize you have to just look when the buy box is suppressed. I would look in the keep it chart to see where there was a buy box. So like if there's a buy box at like 50 and the price is now 60, you're profitable at like 50 just in case. And you really have to know what the merchant fulfilled price is, because that's what Amazon's most likely to show. They're going to show the lowest price. So if like the merchant fulfilled is like 60 and FBA is 60, like then you're good to go. If FBA is 60 and there's no buy box and merchant fulfilled is 40, it's going to be hard. Maybe do a test buy, see how it goes, but you just never know. There's stuff now. There's stuff I was selling like now that doesn't have a buy box, but in Q4 it had a buy box. So and it's the same price. So
it doesn't make sense. Yeah,
it doesn't make
sense. I have one item that I buy from a wholesaler, a distributor, that never had a buy box, and we sell them like around like 30 to 40. It doesn't sell a lot, but it does sell every month. Sells every month. And then I never had a buy box for the item. It doesn't make sense because it's a pack with 2. So it doesn't sell at Walmart or anything like that. But you never had a buy box, and I keep selling them. It's just, I don't know why I'm...
the volume's there. I mean, the people are definitely going to buy it. I mean, I think it might be like a little more annoying for them, but like someone wants something, they're going to buy it.
Yeah, of course. Gente, ele tá falando que ele gosta de vender coisa que tá com o buy box suppressed, que é uma oportunidade, e ele olha lá o Keepa. Então, por exemplo, se o histórico tá vendendo por 16 e o buy box antigamente quando tinha era 15, ele só entra no list tendo certeza que se for 15 ele não vai perder dinheiro, vai ter lucro. E sempre olha o menor preço do FBM. Então, se o menor preço do FBM tá, por exemplo, $30 e ele consegue vender a 30, ele tá vendendo FBA, ele manda a 30 e ele consegue vender tranquilamente. Se o FBM tiver mais baixo do que ele consegue, ele faz um test buy e manda para ver se vai dar certo. Mas normalmente ele tenta ficar com o menor preço FBM. They're asking if you have a prep center on the West Coast.
Yes.
Do you work with a prep center on the West Coast? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it worth buy products on Q4 and Q? Of course.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Buy products on Q4 or Q3. Yeah, that's when we buy most, like during the.
That's the best time.
Black Friday.
Yeah, you also have like I think it's
Cyber Monday.
I'm so bad, but you also have back to school in there, which is pretty big. It's like back to school and then like right into like
Q4.
Yeah,
Q4.
right into Q4.
Yeah, back to school. It's huge, like backpacks and shoes and all that kind of stuff.
Everything.
A gente ele falou que back to school tá ali em Q3 também. Tem que prestar atenção porque vende bastante. E é uma época do ano que tem muita promoção. What else? I'll do 3 more questions, guys, and then we're gonna. I have been having a lot of success with suppressed by box, Sara. She's saying, yeah, suppressed by box is amazing.
Agreed. Yeah, if you know what you're doing and you just test it, just test it. That's my thing. Just test it, see how it goes.
But she said that she's still cautious about it. Usually she does FBM because I think she's one of my students. So when my VA puts over there the buy box suppress, it's usually items that Amazon's out of the stock. So I tell them, it's like, if it's Amazon's out of stock, it's going to be out of for a certain period. You got to be careful. By the time that you send to FBA, they might be back on stock. So when you do FBM or that will work.
And no, that's definitely a good tip.
But that's a good strategy, Sara. When you buy a Target, do they accept deliver on a prep center?
For me, yes. I have heard that some prep centers you can't send to. I don't know what they are. But you could always reach out to the prep center. I've heard people reach out to the prep center. And you would put like apartment 2 or suite 3. Sometimes that gets around it, but I know some person who just can't send to his prep center right now.
Yeah, Marli, ele falou que para alguns prep centers ele consegue, já ouvi falar de pessoas que não conseguem, mas só você entrar em contato com o prep center. O Beto mesmo falou que eles têm um endereço alternativo quando acontece isso, e eles conseguem direcionar o aluno para esse endereço alternativo e o target consegue receber. Então é só reach out to your prep center. Então entre em contato com o seu prep center, fala do problema que vocês estão tendo, às vezes eles te dão um endereço alternativo. These bundles, those grocery bundles, the ASINs already exist, or you create your own listings?
I only sell on ASINs that are already created by Amazon. I don't even know how to create a listing.
Ele só vende, gente, itens que já estão na Amazon. Então, facilitem a vida de vocês. Não tem por que vocês saírem criando listings. A gente vende itens que tem uma velocidade de venda, ou tem um histórico, ou já tem um ranking, alguma coisa. Não precisa criar. Ele diz que nem sabe criar listing na Amazon. That's what I tell everybody, because they're always like, I'm going to create a new listing. I'm going to bring it from China. I'm going to sell this. I was like, no, you just sell whatever it's like there.
Yeah, then you got to get traffic. It's just easier to.
It's just easier. Make your life easier. Just,
Yeah, there's plenty of them too. It's not like there's like not enough.
Be creative on sourcing, and don't try to be creative with listings. Just go with whatever exists.
Agreed. Yeah.
I think that's it, guys. John, I would like to thank you again for being here. It was amazing. You dropped such knowledge here. You gave us really good tips. Some things I don't even use in my business. I'm going to start to use right now. I appreciate you being here. Gente, eu tô agradecendo o John. Ele deu muitas dicas hoje, coisas até que eu mesma não uso no meu business. Por isso que é legal fazer essa entrevista com gente que tá na área, né? Que tá vivendo da Amazon. Tem sempre, a gente nunca sabe de tudo. Tem sempre alguém para acrescentar. Toda quarta-feira a gente tem live. Eu espero vocês na próxima quarta-feira. Muito obrigada por estarem aqui. Sou John. Thank you. E o Edgar, roda aí o VT. E a gente se vê, gente, na próxima quarta-feira.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Maybe we'll see you back.
Yeah, definitely. I'd be happy to come back.